Welcome to Fat and Figuring It Out right here on Anchor.fm. Or you could be listening to us on one of our other sister stations. Either way, I am so happy that you are here. I'm your girl, BK, and today we are talking about taking small steps to making 2021 the best year ever. My guest today is my good friend, Kevin Carlin. He is the Director of Sales at California Dental Network, and he's not only talking the talk when it comes to restoring his health in 2021, but he's also walking the walk. And he's doing that by walking 3 to 5 miles every day, committing himself every day to walk 3 to 5 miles. Kevin, I'm so glad that you're here with us today. How are you?
I'm doing great, BK. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes. So you're talking about making great strides and not only talking, but you're also doing, taking that plan and putting it into action. What made you come up with this for the at the beginning of the year, taking back your health by walking?
Yeah, well, great question. And sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, right? That's a famous quote I heard somewhere, and I've heard it several times. And the simple fact of the matter is that I've put on a lot of weight over the last 8 to 10 years. And, sometimes you can be in denial about it. And then other times, life sends you more urgent messages, right? When you're trying to put on your pants or you're trying to do something and it's like, uh-oh, this is a problem.
Right.
So this year, at the start of this year, I just knew that, I needed to do something different. I was feeling very sluggish, probably going through a little seasonal depression over the holidays. And like so many people, last year was a disaster for me. It wasn't nearly as bad for me as it could have been as it probably was for some other people. But, I put on more than a COVID-15. I've heard the COVID-10, the COVID-15, the COVID-20. Well, I doubled down on that. I don't know how many pounds I put on, and I don't want to know.
Right.
I just know that I need to do something different and I need to be more accountable.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the first step, knowing that you need to do something to make those changes. So what made you think about walking? Why walking? Why was that
Well, I think, I'm over 350 pounds. I'm not proud to say that, but I'm 6'3" and probably about 360 pounds right now. So, when you're that big, you really can't, as excited as you might be about starting a fitness regimen, I'm 54 years old. You do not see people like me walking around in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. You just don't, especially men. Men my size die in their 30s, 40s, 50s of heart attacks. And, I want to be around longer. So, that's sort of, part of the impetus, that led me to making these changes, and then my brother John gifted me an Apple Watch for Christmas. And, that was really something. It took me, I'm not a techie, I'm not a gadget guy. So it took me a couple of weeks to get a handle on setting up my Apple Watch, believe it or not, even though I know it's pretty simple and straightforward for 98% of the population. But once I set up my Apple Watch, I just felt like I have no more excuses now. So it's like your workout buddy that if you don't have a workout buddy, this Apple Watch will be reminding you of your daily goals and what you need to be doing.
And that's awesome that you have that to help you along with your journey as well. And I just want to give the listeners and the viewers, because we are also streaming on Zoom. We're going to put this on YouTube as well. I want to give the listeners and the viewers a little background on how Kevin and I met. And we met some years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, working at the same company. And something about Kevin, guys, when he walks into a room, the room is drastically changed. And I mean, when I was working at that company, it was just like, we needed that burst of energy. And when Kevin came through, his energy just was radiant. And that's what I love about you, Kevin. You can change the dynamic of any room. So do you feel as though that now your energy matches up with the ray of sunshine that you bring to any room you walk into?
Well, you're being very kind and charitable. I think, I feel the same way about you is, that company had some issues. I think it was a company that was suffering from some morale and some turnover issues. But, what I try to do, I've worked with so many people over the years, and, I've worked at so many different companies. I've been through mergers and acquisitions. I went through times in my 20s and 30s where the grass looked greener. And so I left because I could, and I was flattered that somebody wanted me to come work for them. So I left and made some hasty decisions. But what I've tried to do through the years when I've worked at different companies is stay in touch with the best people I met at each company along the way. That's really been a blessing for me. And so people like you, I'm not going to let you get away from me. I'm going to stay in touch and make sure we stay in touch. And we've been able to do that through social media on Facebook and LinkedIn, and just in general. It's great to be connected with someone like you who, obviously has a lot of passion for life and fitness, and helping people, which I love. I'm very passionate about that as well. So kudos to you, and thank you for the compliment about bringing energy into a room. I do feel like that's something a salesperson should bring, right? We should be bringing some energy and some optimism, because if your sales team doesn't have that, then the rest of the company probably is suffering too.
Absolutely. And let's talk about that a little bit. What do you do at California Dental Network, and how can you help people with what you do?
Well, we sell individual and group dental plans. We are a dental HMO. So the dental HMOs, it's kind of a love it or hate it kind of, product, because some people sign up for a dental HMO, but they really want to go see any dentist, or they want to go see their dentist. And if their dentist isn't in our network, then a dental HMO isn't going to work. So I try not to oversell the dental HMO, even though I feel strongly that a dental HMO brings a lot of positives to the table. Typical traditional dental insurance is very expensive. I always tell people when they ask me if dental insurance is a good deal, the first question I ask is, well, are you working? And if you're working, is your employer paying for some or all of the coverage? The more that the employer is subsidizing the coverage, the better deal it is. But in a situation where the coverage is voluntary, where the employer is making no contribution, then even a dental HMO or a PPO, it could be a little bit more problematic in terms of extracting the value from the plan and deciding whether or not it makes sense for you. A lot of people many times would be best off just being self-insured for dental and asking for a cash discount as opposed to being covered under a plan. Sometimes people like to have a card in their wallet or purse, that says, "Hey, I'm with ABC Dental Company," and I understand that. But you have to also ask yourself: is dental something that could bankrupt me, or is it something that could be a devastating shock loss, or like the way medical might be, or disability coverage? So a lot of times people just are trying to make the best decision with limited funds available, and dental is in the pecking order somewhere. But you know I think it can provide great value, but at the same time I always want to caution people, if they don't have enough life insurance and they have children, that would be something you'd want to shore up first before investigating dental coverage.
Absolutely, absolutely. And have you seen your not your job change, but have you changed as far as getting in that walk early morning and going out to meet clients? Are you feeling a difference in your body now that you are walking every day and going out to meet clients, even during the pandemic?
Yeah, so great question, and a couple things on that. So yes, I'm trying. The best time for me to get my walk in is wait right when I roll out of bed. 6:15. If I'm out walking, then it's not going to be crowded. I know. I can clear my head and just kind of get walking. And I really, I'm blessed here in Huntington Beach where I live. There's a lot of walking trails and just lots of different directions to go to from our home. So you know I like getting it done early. But one of the most profound things I found since I started walking since the start of the year is how much better I'm sleeping. And, I'm one of those people who really, really struggles with sleep. And a lot of times when I put my head on the pillow at night, no matter what time I go to bed, my mind is racing. And I think most of the time when I'm struggling to sleep, it's because I didn't exercise during the day. So my body isn't really physically tired. I'm not exhausted, and yet I'm trying to tell my body it's time to go to sleep. I think since I've started walking, especially when I get 3, 4, 5 miles in, like you said, I'm really tired when I go to bed. I'm ready to shut it down, and I'm sleeping much more soundly. And it's really weird to think that on a day where this morning I walked 4.3 miles when I woke up.
Nice.
And I have more energy now than I would have if I didn't do that walk. So it's sort of counterintuitive. You'd think that I would be more tired from having exerted myself in the morning, but instead I have more energy. So it's great. I don't know if I feel a huge change yet in my body, but I do feel stronger. I feel less sluggish. So it's not perceptible, I think, in terms of my appearance yet, but I do have a lot more energy, and that feels great.
And that's great because sleep and weight loss go hand in hand. Our bodies, once when we're sleeping, it's like the mechanic. When you take your car to the mechanic and it's getting the muscles are breaking down and rebuilding, and you're able to just renew yourself when you're sleeping. So when you're able to sleep, you'll start to see, it's a slow process, but you'll start to see the changes in your body. You may not see it today, may not see it tomorrow, may not see it next week, but you
Right.
will over time start to see the changes, not only within your energy, within more clarity, less, brain fog. Have you ever had that before? Less
Yep.
brain fog and more energy to do the things that you love to do throughout the day. Wow, that's so awesome. So that's your goal, 3 to 5 miles per day. Is that for the whole year? And what is the goal? What is your plan?
Yeah, so I'm already ready to start upping it a little bit. And I will tell you, I don't know if I gave myself enough credit. I even though I'm really overweight, I think, in terms of my physical activity, I think, walking my dogs the way I have, for the last several years, I think, I'm in a little bit better shape than I gave myself credit for. In other words, I can do a 3, 4, and even 5 mile walk without really struggling. And, that's not necessarily anything to brag about, but, it is if you've been going through a period of inactivity and you're
Absolutely.
someone my size,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm already thinking about next month and how I want to try to extend some of my walks. So instead of 3 and 4 miles, I want to see if I can go 5 or 6 miles. And I also want to be careful because, I don't want to injure myself or get blisters or shin splints or any of the little nagging injuries that can slow you down.
Right.
I just want to continue to move and move often. And, in terms of like, my Apple Watch, again, keeping me honest, it just reminds me throughout the day, hey, you can still make your goal. I think I have a goal of like burning 1,500 calories and doing 60 minutes of exercise.
Yeah.
And it has a goal for me to be standing 12 hours out of the day. And, it's really interesting the way the Apple Watch works with you have to close these circles every day. And if you don't, it'll just show you a half finished circle and you want to finish it. So,
Right.
um, those are the things that keep me going and remind me that I need to move.
And walking is so underrated. I'm just want to leap out of my chair. I'm so excited for you
Yeah,
because
thank
it's a
you.
great start. It's people, sometimes say, oh, you can do more. You're doing the best that you can do right now. And you're
Yeah.
setting goals for next week, next month. And then once you continue to build up more strength, more endurance, you can continue to set more goals, right? This is a great start and it's going to help you keep yourself accountable, and it's something that you can do that's not overworking yourself. So that's so awesome, Kevin. I'm so super proud of you.
Yeah,
So
thank you. Well, I think that, some of the weight bearing exercises, you just have to be careful. So I think swimming is a great one. We're blessed to have a pool in our backyard. So in the spring and summer, I plan on being very active in our pool. I think we've, like many people with a swimming pool, sometimes we've underutilized it. But I want to get out and be a lot more active in the pool. That's great for someone my size because, you're not on your joints all the
right,
time.
that's right.
And same thing with biking. I think biking, I can work in a little bit in the spring and summer. And I want to do some light weights. I just want to tone up a little bit and tighten up. And, I have no illusions about, becoming a great weightlifter at the age of 54, but I at least can do some basic curls and some, basic exercises to kind of keep things tight, or at least get them tighter.
Absolutely. So has your weight loss journey or your new health endeavor has it impacted your family yet?
Yeah, I think so. One of the best things about it is that, you know, I have issues with food regardless. So I eat often, I eat emotionally, I eat late at night, I eat the wrong foods, I eat too much of them. So I'm not one of these people who's fat or overweight who says, gee, I don't know how I got this way. A lot of times I'm eating when I'm not even hungry. And, I really have tried, this year, to be so much more mindful and focused and aware of what I'm doing and why. And when I start to head to the refrigerator, it's, am I really hungry, or am I just bored? Am I tired? Am I stressed? Am I unhappy?
Right.
Why am I doing this? So, just being locked in that way feels really good, instead of just letting yourself drift. And it's very subtle. Sometimes, I think a lot of people are like me in some ways, where, you're just watching TV at night, and, instead of, an apple or a banana, you drift to, ice cream and chips and cookies. And so part of that is just keep those things out of the house. If you buy them, you're going to eat them. And yeah, I think it is having a reverberating effect on our family, because my son Sean is starting to make some subtle changes. My wife Denise is, and we can all do better. So I'm excited about seeing where this goes.
Absolutely. And have you started to make changes within your own refrigerator as far as, on Fat and Figuring It Out? I like to talk about switching out the bad for something good. So, for example, instead of eating a bowl of ice cream, watermelon. Watermelon, you can eat a big bowl of it and it's only like 30 calories and it's delicious. So, have you found alternatives to those late night snacks that you can have without the guilt?
Yes. And, again, that's credit to my wife, Denise, she does most of the shopping. So when she's at the store, we're making better choices. And so that's really helping, because, we know if it's in the house, we're going to eat it. Right.
Right,
So you
right.
might say, oh, I'll leave that for the kids, or, oh, we'll leave that, for company or whatever. It's like, no, if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it and I'll find it. Denise would have to
I'll
hide it
find
from me. If it
it.
was chocolate, I would hunt it down, or, so yeah, so I know better. I know myself, and so Denise has been doing a great job of making great choices at the grocery store for us.
So what do you want to see as the year started to progress and you continue on your walking journey? What are you hoping to see within the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, so great question. So I want to continue to feel like how I'm feeling now. I want to feel like, one, I feel a sense of accomplishment when I knock out my walk.
Yes.
Today was a tough day. Today I had a lot of energy in the beginning, and I also had a pretty big hill to climb, and that was in the first mile. And then the second mile I got no problem. And then about halfway through, I started struggling. It wasn't necessarily struggling to finish the walk. It was just trying to keep up my splits in terms of my mile, my timing.
Mhm.
I'm pretty good usually about maintaining an even pace throughout, but for some reason today I lagged in miles 3 and 4, and they were much slower than the first 2 miles. So that's something I try to focus on, and the Apple Watch does a good job there of, I'm always checking my wrist to see how I'm doing, and if I need to speed up or not. Today I just didn't have it, though. I finished, but I felt really good after I got done. I was thinking to myself, I looked at my watch, when I was having breakfast this morning at 7:30, and I already had almost 10,000 steps. I had like
Yes.
9,600 steps. I'm like, hey, I'm almost at my number, and it's not even 8 a.m. this morning.
Love
So
that.
that sense of accomplishment really fuels me and drives me and motivates me.
Yes, Kevin, I'm so proud of you. I love that so much. I am the same way. By 7 a.m., I'm like, oh, I need 4 bottles of water to hit my gallon. I already got two down and two to go. That sense of accomplishment, especially as we get older, it's a great feeling. Until we're 100 years old or dead in the ground, let's continue to make goals to make ourselves feel proud of ourselves for what we're doing. We're taking care of
Yes.
ourselves. That's awesome. I commend you. So, any last piece of advice, not only for the men who are in their early or late 50s who may have, took put their health on the back burner or put it as a side thing to do. What advice would you give to them, and if they're interested in starting their wellness journey this year?
Well, I would say, first off, I'm the last person that should be giving advice, but I'll give it anyway. And I'll
Okay.
only repeat what I've heard others say, which is, celebrate small wins, celebrate little victories. It's very easy to set these really ambitious, aggressive goals about wanting to do 5 and 10 miles and 12 miles, but be realistic with yourself and your health. And then when you do, click off these daily accomplishments, be happy, celebrate a little bit, and pat yourself on the back and be kind to yourself. That's some of the advice I've heard in the past that resonates strongly with me is don't get wrapped up in a real ambitious, aggressive goal, whether it's, the number on the scale in terms of weight loss or how long you want to be running or walking or biking. Those are all important things, but the most important thing I think is just to build slowly and celebrate the little victories along the way. And then hopefully you're building new habits that, it's starting to feel like a habit for me. I think they say it takes about 21 days typically to do something before it really truly becomes a habit. But once something becomes a habit, then it's almost like on autopilot, right? It's almost like money coming out of your checking account with, any one of a number of things you might set up, just like something's auto debited from your account. I think good habits like walking every day or running every day or biking every day, it's almost like on autopilot too. And it's not something you necessarily think about. It's something you just do when you wake up.
Absolutely, absolutely, Kevin. That's awesome advice. I like to build a small community here on Fat and Figuring It Out. If someone wants to reach out to you and want to talk about their journey, or maybe if they're in Huntington Beach and want to join you for that walk, how can people reach out to you? And also, maybe they want to talk about dental plans.
Yeah,
How can they
exactly. Well,
connect
if
with
someone
you?
wants to talk about a dental plan for their company, I'm all ears. I could definitely help them and give them some advice and maybe refer them to an insurance broker who can help them make a really good choice. As far as connecting with me, the best places to do that are either Facebook or LinkedIn. Um, I'm really open that way, and I love communicating on Facebook and LinkedIn only because I find it to be a very efficient way of communicating. Facebook, I know, tends to be more personal, and LinkedIn tends to be more about business. But if you look me up, it's Kevin Carlin, Carlin, and I work for California Dental Network. That should come up on LinkedIn. But yeah, I'd love to connect with anyone who is trying to change things for the better in 2021, and connect and try and encourage each other mutually along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kevin, for being on our show today. It has been such a pleasure. And definitely, I want to check in. I'm gonna give it what? Let's do maybe 3 months. We do a check
Yeah.
in. We see where you are. See how you have evolved from today doing 3 to 5 miles. I'm excited for you.
Okay. Thank you, BK. Thanks so much for having me. I always enjoy talking with you, and I'm excited to continue my wellness journey into 2021.
Yes, yes. And give Denise and Sean my best. And thank you so much, listeners, for tuning into Fat and Figuring It Out. Definitely connect with Kevin. He is on his journey, and you can make small changes, small steps to making the 2021 the best year ever. Let's start today. Let's not put it off to Monday, Tuesday. Let's start today and take our health to the next level. Thank you so much, Kevin. I look forward to speaking with you soon. And listeners and viewers, thank you so much for watching today.
Thank you, BK.
All
Have a
right.
great weekend.
You too. Bye, Kevin. Thank you.